I'm Ben McCarl. I was born and raised in Guelph. I've lived within 100 kilometers of Guelph my whole entire life. And I've learned that I need 5 things to be happy and balanced. I need family, I need social, I need outdoors, I need fitness, and I need creativity. I get a lot of ideas. They typically happen in calm times, like I'm out for a walk in the bush or out on the lake, and inspirations come to me. But the problem is when I get an inspiration, then I have to go find a rock that fits that inspiration. It's often that's not there. To get that inspiration into the rock, you'd have to remove so much rock, it would just be far too much work. So I evolved to a different style. I also get inspirations from the rocks. Stones are actually very old. Soapstones are like 300 million years old. So nature has created the stone, and my job is simply to find it at the supply store and carve some sculpture into it to see what's really in there and give it a temporary life as a sculpture for me and reveal the beauty that's in there. There's such textures within stone, the depth, the translucent. You can see into the colors, the shapes, the patterns. It's like looking at the sky at night, seeing the stars. It's a beautiful balance, and it just makes you pause and brings a total relaxed feeling. That's how I feel when I'm looking at a stone. So how did I get into sculpting? It started way back when I was an engineering student, and for a work term I was a surveyor. So in those days, the one person had the transit and measuring what's going on, the other person had a surveying rod, and my job was to hike out into this field about 100 meters away and mark this point for the measuring and the surveying. And on the way it seemed kind of a boring trip, so I tucked the surveyor's rod under my arm and bent over, picked up a chunk of mud in this farmer's field in one hand and a stick in the other. So as I'm walking along, I fiddling away, carving this chunk of mud with the stick. And by the time I got to the destination, I looked in my hand and said, oh, look at that. I made a little mud man. I guess I'm a sculptor. Inspiration, how to do that. You can't just walk up to a block of stone and say, okay, carve something, because I don't know what's in there. I don't know how to create in it. So what I do is I find that I have to have a gentle state flow in my life. So I'll do things like go out on the balcony in the morning and with a cup of tea, and I will just relax and notice. And I find if I start every day by going through that routine of achieving a total calm state, like meditation, it's just me being out there and just noticing what's going on. That guides me through the day, and it'll feed when I need to create in sculpting. That energy is there. So the way carving works is start with a stone like that white alabaster Secrets, and I carve it with files first. So it starts with a rough file, and I'm making the rough shape, and then it gets finer and finer filing, and then I transition to sandpaper, a coarse sandpaper, a fine sandpaper, and at this point is when the sculpture really speaks to me. It's like caressing the stone. I fall in love with the piece, and keeps on going finer. And what I've discovered is that the hand and touch is actually more sensitive than my eye. I'll look at a stone and think, oh, that's a pretty good shape to it. But if I run my hand over the edge of it, I can say, oh, there's a slight wave to that, a slight imperfection. And I can sand that out and make it feel perfect. And then once for the final sanding, I actually use a wet sanding, very fine grit. I can go up to a 7,000 grit sandpaper just to get the glistening look to it. I love it, but it's exhausting. My hands get sore from holding the files. My back gets sore from bending over, the tension. I typically cut myself with the file, so there's blood involved. And so I can only carve for about 2 hours at a time, and then I have to stop and take a break. But that's okay. It fills my need. I feel fulfilled spiritually, and physically, take a break, go away. My sculptures are going to last a long time. They'll last hundreds of years. I'm not. I'm going to be dead and gone long before then. But the sculptures will live on. And the stories behind the sculptures are going to fade with me and the people who know me. But the physical sculpture itself will live on. And it'll be a testament of the time that we spent together. I helped build the sculpture. They helped build me. And it was a wonderful journey creating together.